Hey guys, this is Khalifa1 here, and today I'm back at it with a brand new Thomas Wooden Railway layout. Now, the last time I did a full-scale solo layout like this was, I want to say, back around like 2017 or 2018 or so it's definitely been a while, and although I have made a few smaller table-sized layouts since then, it was a lot of fun just bringing out, practically all of my destinations and track, including a bunch of pieces that I don't usually get to use in my videos. But yeah, without further ado, let's just get started. So let's start this tour here at Knapford Station. As you can see, this is a TV series accurate 6-lane Knapford Station where we have a bunch of engines, including Gordon with the Express coaches, Percy with Annie and Clarabelle, James with 2 Knapford Express coaches, Doc with the Red Branch Line coaches, Toby with Henrietta, and Emily with Old Slow Coach. And then there's also Bertie the Bus and Sir Tom Hat and Lady Hat. So let's follow Gordon's line first. His line goes to the set of points, and if we go this way, then we'll reach the brown turntable where we have a bunch of engines gathered, including Stanley, Neil, Murdoch, Stafford, and Molly, who is in the really useful engine shed. Now, this line over here, that just goes to the Abbey repair shop where we started the video, where Thomas is getting repaired, and that's why Percy has Annie and Clarabelle. So if we follow Stafford's line, then we'll go past the water tower to Timmit Sheds, where we have a bunch of the narrow gauge engines gathered, including Skarloey, Rheneas, Sir Handel, Peter Sam, Rusty, Duncan, who's by the coal hopper, Bertram, Freddy, Smudger, and Mighty Mac. And then there's also Mr. Percival. So let's follow Mighty Mac's line first. So here we have a set of points. If we go straight, then we'll go over this archstone bridge, down and around to Timmit Station, where we have Stepney, who has one of the Knapford Express coaches, as well as and then there's also Caroline and a couple of passengers. So Stepney's also by a set of points. If we go straight, then we'll go around over this bumpy track, past the switch, underneath this bridge, and back to that initial switch by Gordon and Stanley. And then going back to the switch, we'll go around through this crossing, past Oliver, who has the mail coach and Toad, and back to that switch by where Mighty Mac is. And then there's also Thumper. And then finally, going back to this switch by Stepney, if we go this way, then we'll go past the conductor shed, through the crossing from before, underneath Morgan's mine, and it'll go to Neil's line at the brown turntable. So, as you can see, this part of the layout kind of forms like a little circuit or a switchyard or whatever you want to call it. So, that wasn't really intentional when I was building it, but I thought that was kind of cool. So let's go back to Knapford. So if we follow Percy's line, then we'll go straight underneath this bridge, past the Knapford covered tunnel where Spencer is, and then we'll reach the set of points. Now if we go this way real quick, then we'll go underneath one of the lines of the Rumbling Bridge and reach this V-switch, which leads to where James and Duck are in Knapford. So going back to the switch, if we keep going, then we'll reach the set of points where Splatter and Dodge are. If we follow Dodge's line, then we'll reach the Hat Street crossing where Harvey is with the breakdown trains waiting for George to cross. And then Harvey's line just goes to the 5-way switch where, as you can see, we have Diesel, Ari, and Bert just chilling in the sheds. And then if we keep going this way, then we'll just go around through the other line of the Rumbling Bridge to another V-switch, which leads to where Toby and Emily are in Knapford. So this whole stretch kind of forms like a little loop, you could say. So going back to the 5-way switch, if we follow the track on the right, then we'll go around to the set of points where Spankin and Bowler are. Then also here we have a bunch of pack characters like Jack, Alfie, Oliver, Byron, and Isabella. So Spankin and Bowler's tracks go through the work shed and reach the harbor or docks part of the layout. So here we have a bunch of destinations like the cargo crane, the ice cream factory, and the old style Knapford Station building, which I'm basically using as like the harbor station. Shout out to my friend Noah, aka Train Club, for getting me this for Christmas. And so here we have Edward with the old coaches, Salty has some cargo cars, and then here we have Porter getting ready to shunt some trucks in like this shunting area with a bunch of sidings. And actually this switch right here was 3D printed for me by my friend MaxMoney1516, aka Luke. In addition to this, he also contributed a couple other pieces of the layout, like one of the Archstone bridges and a couple characters, so special thanks to him as well. And then here we have also Cranky the Crane and Lori 1. So on the other side of the station building, on Edward's line, we have the set of points over here. If we go this way, then we'll go past the Solar Lumber Company and to this switch over here. If we go this way, then we'll reach the bottom portion of the Sawmill Dumping Depot, where we have Wilbert and Fergus with some log cars. There's Elizabeth over there. And then if we go this way, then if we just go straight, then we'll go over this crossing, past Skiff, and back to where Emily is at Knapford. And then if we go back to the switch over here, if we go this way, then we'll go past Arthur, who has a couple of vans, underneath one of the Solar Bay bridges, and then we'll go around to the switch over here. And if we go this way, then we'll go underneath another one of the bridges, past the conductor shed to this set of points. If we go straight, then we'll go past Donald and Rocky to Toby's line in Knapford. And then if we go this way, then we'll go through the fire station where we have Bucko with the fire engine, Harold on the roof, and a couple of the fire trucks. And so Bucko's line goes through the crossing and up onto the top line of the sawmill where Mavis is with a couple of flatbeds. And so Mavis's line goes around through the top part of the rumbling bridge, past Bill and Ben who have the jet engine, and then it just goes down through Morgan's mine to Smudger's line at Timothy Sheds. And then going back to where the Solar Bay bridges are, if we keep going, then we'll go to this T-switch where Ivo Hugh is pulling some narrow gauge coaches. If we go this way, then we'll reach the set of points. Here's Hero pulling a long goods train, and then his line splits into two, goes through the Solar number 3 signal house, and goes to where James and Duck are in Knapford. And then going back to the switch, if we go straight ahead, then we'll go past the set of points, past the Big City Engine, who's in another one of the Knapford tunnels, and then his line just goes back to where Percy is in Knapford. And then finally, the Solar Railway Repair here, his line goes through the bottom line of the mountain tunnel, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But going back to where Ivo Hugh is, but he's by another set of points. His line goes underneath this bridge, up and over the mountain tunnel, past Lady, and then it just goes down past another set of points, through the Singlestone tunnel, and back to where Murdoch is at the Brown Turntable. Going back to the bottom line of the mountain tunnel, here we have a set of points. This line goes through the Solar Engine Wash, this crossing where we have Mike, Bert, and Frank. Bert's line just continues to where Bertram is at the sheds. Mike's line just goes back to that set of points by the Singlestone tunnel and where Lady is. Going back here, we reach another set of points. This line just goes past Dart and the barrel loader, and then underneath the sling bridge, back to where Duncan is at the sheds. And then if we go straight, we'll go to another set of points, and then here at Ulfstead Station we have Daisy, there's Bulgy off to the side, and then there's Butch with Proteus in tow. And so, if we go to the other side of Ulfstead Station, Daisy's line goes up onto this bridge, and here's Henry pulling a long goods train across the Solar Bay bridges. And then here at the other end of the bridge, we have Douglas pulling a couple of Grey Troublesome trucks and the Spiteful Brake Van. There's the Solar Bay tugboat, and then Douglas's line just goes down back to the harbor area and to Salty's line. And then here on the top line of Ulfstead Station, we have Stephen. His line just goes around and down back to this set of points by where Ivo Hugh is, and then in the other direction, his line just goes through the middle line of the mountain tunnel, past Duke, who has Ada, Jane, and Mabel, and then his line just goes back to where Gordon is at Knapford. And so I believe there's just one major area of the layout left to cover. So going back to where Daisy is, here we have another set of points, and here we have Flying Scotsman in this lone special engine shed off to the side. This shed was actually one of the last pieces I put on the layout. I basically just finished building everything else before I realized that I hadn't used the shed yet, and so it was just lying around. And so I initially wasn't really sure where to put it, but I eventually decided on putting it here, kind of off to the side of the main line. And so if we keep going, then we'll go over this archstone bridge into the set of points by where Trevor is. And then this line just goes through the top line of the sling bridge and back to where Frank is at the crossing. If we keep going from beyond that switch, we'll go over these two archstone bridges, past the windmill, past this bend where Diesel 10 is, and then we'll just go to the expanding Solar Suspension Bridge where Coldy is with Catherine, and then his line just goes down and around back to the set of points where Splatter is. And so, this is part of the area where we have like all these hills. A lot of people often call this like backcountry, and so I guess that's what I'm going to be calling it as well. But yeah, so I believe that's the entire layout. Thank you guys so much for watching. I had a ton of fun building this, and I hope to build many more layouts like this in the future. And so, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and this is CaldyFell1, signing out.